Awareness is not something that you find in books. It is not learned through lectures. It is something that must be lived, sensed, experienced. It is not about knowing what is happening. It is about realizing why it is happening and how you respond to it. Most people move through life with their eyes open, but their spirit asleep. They see everything around them, yet they do not see themselves. They feel things deeply, yet they do not understand the root of those feelings. That is why the very first step toward any real change in life, any genuine transformation, must begin with awareness. To be aware is to begin to wake up. Just like a person lying in bed at the break of dawn, eyes still closed, somewhere between dream and reality. You begin to sense the light before you open your eyes. You begin to feel the morning before you rise. That is awareness. It is the bridge between sleep and action, between ignorance and wisdom, between being lost and finding your path. So when I say congratulations, if you see this before 16 July, what I am really saying is this. Congratulations, because you are awake enough to recognize the message before the moment. You are aware enough to sense the importance of this pause. And that pause is powerful. That pause is the gate. You see, many people will walk into the 16th of July just as they walked into the day before and the day before that. Without reflection, without intention, without awareness. They will not notice the shift in energy, in spirit, in timing. They will not prepare for what is changing because they never stopped to ask themselves whether anything needed to change. But you, if you are hearing this now, are already different. Because life is offering you a mirror before the test. You are being shown your own reflection before you are asked to prove your strength. But here is the truth. Awareness is not always comfortable. In fact, most of the time it is painful. Because when you become aware, you begin to see the patterns you've lived in for years. You begin to recognize how much time you have wasted. You begin to feel the weight of your own choices. You begin to observe the thoughts that you have allowed to control you. And that is not easy, but it is necessary. To transform, you must first see clearly. You must see what habits are keeping you small. You must see what fears are keeping you frozen. You must see what lies you keep telling yourself to avoid growth. And when you see it all, not with judgment, but with clarity, you take your first step toward real freedom, because the moment you are aware, the chains begin to loosen. You realize you are not your past, you are not your pain, you are not the thoughts in your head. You are the one who can observe them, the one who can change them. Many people ask me, how do I become stronger? And I always say, first, become more aware. Because a person who is not aware will repeat the same mistakes again and again, even if they are surrounded by the wisest teachers. A person who is not aware will run in circles even if they are given the clearest map. But a person who is truly aware of their emotions, their thoughts, their energy, their impact on others, this person begins to walk the path of mastery. To be aware is to feel the energy in your own body when you are about to react. To pause before you speak. To listen more than you talk. To recognize that every emotion is a teacher and every challenge is a mirror. And it is in that stillness, in that space of observation, that true transformation begins. Imagine this. A warrior preparing for battle does not wait until the fight has begun to sharpen his sword. He prepares in advance, in the quiet, in the calm. He studies the wind. He listens to the silence. He feels the weight of his own breath. That is what you must do now. You must sharpen your awareness before the day arrives, before the challenge presents itself, before life tests your strength. You may wonder why the 16th of July has any meaning, but it is not the date itself, it is the symbolism. It is a line drawn in the sand, giving you time to wake up before life demands your attention. It is a chance to shift before you are forced to. Most people change when the pain becomes unbearable, but the wise change when the whisper arrives. The whisper is here. The signal is here. And if you are hearing this now, you are already receiving it. But awareness must go deeper than the mind. It must reach your behavior, your daily choices, your routines, your voice, your attitude. What are you tolerating that you should have released long ago? What part of your life is calling for your attention, but you keep ignoring it? What area of your soul is dry because you stop watering it? These are the questions that awareness brings. And if you can sit with these questions, not run from them, not distract yourself, not numb yourself, then you begin the process of inner evolution. The problem is that we are raised in a world that celebrates doing, achieving, rushing. But awareness is about stopping. It is about slowing down enough to notice what is real. And that goes against everything this world promotes. So you must be strong. You must be willing to feel uncomfortable, because to wake up is to leave behind the comfort of unconsciousness. But I promise you, once you taste awareness, once you experience life fully awake, you will never want to go back. And there is something else. Awareness leads to responsibility. Once you see, you can no longer pretend not to. Once you understand your part in your suffering, you cannot blame others anymore. And that is why many people avoid awareness. They do not want the responsibility that comes with it. They want to be victims. They want to remain asleep so they can stay innocent. But innocence is not the same as ignorance. And staying asleep is not peace. It is avoidance. The warrior, the monk, the awakened one, they do not avoid life. They meet it fully, with open eyes, open hearts, open hands. So now I turn to you and ask, what will you do with this awareness? It is not enough to listen to words. You must reflect. You must take action. You must change your relationship with your own life. This means waking up earlier, sitting in silence, observing your reactions instead of justifying them. It means becoming aware of how your energy affects the room when you walk in. It means noticing how your habits shape your future. The 16th of July is coming, and for some, it will be just another day. But for those who are aware, it will be a doorway, a turning point, a moment of remembrance, a spiritual checkpoint. And if you have the courage to look in the mirror before the world demands it, you will cross that threshold with clarity and power. So, congratulations if you see this before the 16th. It means your spirit is listening. It means you still have time to align, time to awaken, time to prepare. Not just for the challenges of that day, but for the deeper path you are meant to walk. Do not wait for life to shake you awake. Wake yourself. Do not wait for pain to force growth. Choose growth. Do not wait until the storm arrives to build your strength. Begin now. Begin with awareness. And as you continue your journey, remember this: the most powerful transformation does not happen in one moment. It happens in the consistent practice of awareness, day after day, breath after breath, until one day you realize you are no longer the one who reacts. You are the one who chooses. You are no longer the one who sleeps through life. You are the one who walks with purpose, with vision, with grace. That is the power of awareness. That is the first gate. And you, my friend, have already placed your hand upon it. Now walk through. Preparation is not something you do when chaos has already arrived. It is not a response to fear. It is a commitment to readiness. Most people in life wait until they are in pain to change. They wait until life breaks them before they decide to become strong. They wait until everything is falling apart before they try to build themselves up. But the way of the wise, the way of the disciplined, is not to wait for the storm to arrive. It is to prepare when the storm to arrive. It is to prepare when the storm to arrive. It is to prepare when the storm is still clear. That is the difference between a reactive life and a conscious one. You do not build a house during the thunder. You build it in the silence, long before the storm ever shows its face. There is a calm before every shift, a quiet stillness before the wind begins to howl. Most miss this silence, dismiss it, or even waste it. They live in distraction, filling the stillness with noise, unaware that the silence is the teacher and the stillness is the training ground. But if you are aware enough to see this message before the 16th of July, you are standing in that very stillness of the calm before the shift, the breath before the leap. And you must understand this moment is sacred. It is in this moment that you are being called, not by me, not by anyone outside of you, but by your own soul. It is saying to you, prepare, focus, cleanse, build. Not for a doomsday, not for fear, but because something inside you is about to change, and change requires readiness, not physical readiness, not the kind that is shown to the world, but spiritual readiness, mental focus, emotional balance. These are the real preparations that most forget, and yet they are the foundation of everything. You do not wait for life to fall apart before you start meditating. You do not wait for a loved one to leave before you express your love. You do not wait for your health to crumble before you start honoring your body. You do not wait for the fire to break out before you search for water. Preparation is the art of discipline practiced when there is no pressure. It is what makes you unshakable, not because storms don't come, but because you are rooted when they arrive. Preparation. You are not dependent on the storm. The problem is that people confuse movement with preparation. They think that rushing around, constantly busy, always occupied means they are ready for life. But true preparation is not loud, it is silent, it is not always seen. It is felt. You prepare in the way you think, in the way you breathe, in the way you hold yourself in moments of temptation, in boredom, in anxiety. It is the small, invisible victories that build the fortress of your inner world. And this is what the 16th of July represents. Not a calendar date, but a symbolic doorway, an invitation to step out of the unconscious pattern you've been living in. A chance to face a new version of yourself. But if you arrive at this date with the same mindset, the same habits, the same wounds, untouched, the door may open, but you will not walk through it. You will hesitate. You will fear. You will miss it. But if you begin now, if you take this message seriously, if you treat this moment as a divine warning, as a sacred whisper, then you still have time to prepare your heart, your mind, and your energy. How do you prepare? First, you slow down, because preparation requires presence. You cannot sharpen a sword while running. You must be still. You must create silence in your life, even if only for a few minutes each day. Sit in the stillness, listen to your breath, watch your thoughts. Do not try to fix them, just observe. This is the beginning, because you cannot train a distracted mind. You cannot grow with a restless spirit. Second, you cleanse, not just your surroundings, but your habits, your thoughts, your relationships. What is weighing you down? What are you holding on to that is no longer aligned with your future? Many people carry the past like a backpack filled with stones, wondering why they are tired. But tiredness is not from doing too much. It is from holding too much. To prepare, you must lighten the load. Let go, not out of anger, but out of peace. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Third, you train. Not for the world, not for attention, but for your own integrity. This means creating discipline in your day, not for perfection, but for alignment. Wake up a little earlier, practice stillness, breathe with intention, move your body, feed your mind. Stop waiting for motivation, begin with action. Because training done in silence becomes strength when it matters most. The warrior does not ask, will the battle come? He trains so that whenever it does, he is ready. Fourth, you visualize. You see yourself walking through the 16th of July, not as the same version of yourself that has been surviving life, but as a new being, stronger, calmer, clearer, more focused. And you begin to act like that person today. Because transformation is not about waiting for change to come. It is about becoming the change now, before life demands it. You must embody the future you seek, and you can only do that through daily practice, through quiet preparation, through inner work. There is one more truth you must remember. Preparation is not glamorous. No one applauds the person who rises early to meditate while the world sleeps. No one sees the tears shed in private when you finally face your pain. No one notices the struggle of breaking old habits in the quiet of your own home. But this is where real strength is built. Not in front of the crowd, in solitude, in silence, in struggle. That is where you become unbreakable. People ask, what if nothing happens on the 16th of July? My answer is simple. The point is not whether something dramatic happens. The point is whether you happen, whether you shift, whether you rise to meet the life that's calling you. And if nothing outside changes, but you have changed inside, then you have already won. Because the greatest storms are not outside, they are within. And if you can prepare for that storm, then you can face anything. So prepare with grace, with discipline, with love, not because you are afraid, but because you are ready to evolve, to step forward, to cross the bridge from who you were into who you are becoming. And when the 16th comes, whether quietly or with thunder, you will not be caught off guard. You will stand tall, rooted, clear, ready, because you chose to prepare when it mattered most. You chose awareness over ignorance, discipline over comfort, purpose over delay. And that, quietly, powerfully, is the beginning of your transformation. There is a truth hidden in plain sight, and yet only a few ever notice it. Life whispers to us constantly, but most people are too busy, too distracted, too entangled in their own noise to listen. But some, a rare few, pause. They sense something, they feel a subtle pull, a message hidden between moments, a call that does not come from the outside but from somewhere much deeper. If you are here, reading these words before the 16th of July, it is not a coincidence. It is not by accident. It is because something in you was ready to hear them. You were meant to. That is the reason, and that is enough. You must understand something very clearly now. Not everyone will see this message. Not everyone will resonate with it. Even if it were placed in front of them, most would scroll past it. Most would dismiss it. Because not everyone is prepared to change. Not everyone is open to transformation. Most are still clinging to their patterns, even if those patterns are destroying them. Most are still asleep, even if their lives are falling apart. They are waiting for something outside of them to save them. A miracle, a moment, a sudden blessing. But the truth is, salvation begins with awareness. And awareness only comes to those who are willing to see. So the fact that you are here now with this message in your hands, before the date arrives, before the storm hits, before the shift occurs, this is a sign. A subtle, powerful confirmation from life itself that you are not just drifting. You are waking. You are being guided. You are being aligned with a purpose you may not fully understand yet, but you feel it. You sense it. And that feeling, that instinct, is real. Honor it. This world is built in such a way that the loudest distractions capture the most attention. People are flooded with information, with drama, with desires, with fear. And yet the most important messages, the ones that could shift everything, do not scream. They whisper. They knock quietly. They arrive like a breeze, not a storm. That is why so many miss them, because they are not paying attention to the stillness. They are looking for signs in the chaos, but the truth hides in the calm. To be here now means you heard the whisper, you saw the signal, you followed the thread, and that means your spirit is awake, even if your mind still has questions. That means something inside you is seeking truth, seeking alignment, seeking a new way of living. Not because you are broken, but because you are evolving. Not because you are behind, but because you are ready. There is a saying among monks, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But sometimes the teacher is not a person. Sometimes the teacher is a moment, a message, a feeling, a sentence that seems to reach into your soul and touch a part of you forgot existed. This message is that kind of teacher. It is not here to entertain. It is not here to scare you. It is here to remind you of who you are, to prepare you for what is coming, not as a warning, but as a blessing. Because a shift is coming. Maybe not in the sky, maybe not on the news, maybe not where the world is looking, but within you. A shift in consciousness, in clarity, in energy. And only those who are awake will notice it. Only those who are aligned will receive it. Only those who prepared will understand it. And if you are here, that means you are being invited to receive it too. But you must act on it. Awareness is the beginning, but action is what makes the awareness real. Knowing something is not enough. You must live differently now. You must begin to align your life with the person you're becoming. That means letting go of the things that no longer reflect who you are. That means being honest about what you've been avoiding. That means stepping into discomfort, because on the other side of discomfort is growth. And you will face resistance. Not everyone around you will understand. Some will mock your change. Some will question your silence, your discipline, your shift in direction. Do not be surprised. Remember, not everyone will see what you see. That does not make them wrong. It does not make you better. It just means they are on a different part of the path. And your job is not to convince them. Your job is to keep walking. Your clarity will speak louder than your explanations ever could. Transformation is lonely at first. It must be, because it requires breaking away from what is familiar. It requires letting go of the version of yourself that the world has grown used to. But that old version of you was built for survival. The one emerging now is built for truth, for purpose, for meaning. And that requires shedding layers. Layers of doubt, of guilt, of fear, of lies. That is not easy, but it is sacred. If you are asking, what does it mean that I saw this message now? The answer is simple. It means you are ready. Ready for more. Ready for depth. Ready for clarity. Ready to stop playing small. Ready to walk with intention instead of drifting. Ready to turn inward instead of always seeking outward. It means your time of hiding is over. Your time of delay is finished. Now is the moment, not the 16th. Now. Because the preparation begins now, the change begins now, the new you begins now. And here is what I want you to remember. You are not alone. Even if your journey feels lonely, even if the people around you don't understand, even if your thoughts are loud and messy and confusing, you are not alone. Because every person who hears this message and feels it in their bones is connected to the same stream of consciousness. You are walking with others, even if you cannot see them. You are rising together, even if your paths never cross. And life itself is walking with you through every breath, every challenge, every choice. So trust yourself. Trust that you are seeing this now for a reason. Trust that your spirit knows what your mind may not. Trust that even if you don't have all the answers, you are exactly where you are meant to be. And trust that what comes next will meet you at the level of your preparation, your awareness, your courage. Most people never get this far. Most people never slow down long enough to receive a message like this. But you did. And now it's your responsibility to act. To shift, to live differently, not in grand dramatic ways, but in subtle, daily ones. Wake up with gratitude, breathe with intention, speak with kindness, move with awareness, rest with discipline. These are the real steps. These are the real signs of transformation. And when the 16th of July arrives, you will not wonder if something will happen, because something already has, inside you, quietly, powerfully, permanently. You have shifted, you have awakened, and now you are ready to live from a place of purpose. Not everyone will see this, but you did, and that changes everything.